Man gives 4-bedroom house away for free, but there's one catch.
But before we start, please take a moment to give this video a like, subscribe to Happy World, and hit the bell so you'll never miss these great stories.
Louisa couldn't believe what was going on. She stood frozen, unable to move. This was supposed to be her new home. Was this some kind of joke? Then she noticed the red stain and she felt a lump in her throat. Then she noticed something that made her jump back. It was in the corner of the room. She then knew why the house was completely free. Louisa Johnson moved to a tiny town just outside of Louisiana to try and find a better life for her and her daughter. She then spotted a house that looked like something out of her dreams. She knew it was going to be the perfect new starting point to a happy life, but she found that there would be one catch that would end with a lot of regret. Louisa hoped for a better future after leaving her husband in the middle of the night with her bags packed and her daughter strapped in the passenger seat. She didn't stop until she had covered 200 miles. Her little daughter was sound asleep when they arrived in the new town. She felt she could finally breathe a sigh of relief, but something unexpected was lurking around the corner. They stayed with Louisa's friend while she searched for a job, and soon she found one, a nearby diner. Now that she didn't have to worry about a job, she just had to find a home where her daughter could be safe. But she didn't know where that would lead. She searched long and hard but couldn't find anything affordable. She was only asking for a 2-bedroom house and a modest backyard. Soon a strange figure would appear and give her a helping hand. But she had no idea what was in store for her. Every single house that she looked at made her clutch her purse. She resigned herself to the fact that she wouldn't find anything soon. She didn't want to keep living off of her friend's generosity. She needed to find a place to stay. Then someone unexpected appeared. It would be an elderly woman. She had deep wrinkles and snow white hair. She asked Louisa if she was looking for a house, to which she nodded. The woman smiled, exposing her false teeth. She gave her a slip of paper and hobbled away. What was that about? Quickly, Louisa opened the piece of paper, and to her surprise, she saw a picture of a gorgeous detached house. Then she saw how much this house was going for, $0. This house was free, but why? Boasting 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a large kitchen, and a gigantic backyard. It sounded perfect. But Louisa would soon learn this house was far from perfect. Underneath the picture was a cell phone number, and for a brief moment, Louisa debated what to do. Was there a reason this house wasn't at the estate agency? Should she even take advice from a complete stranger? She dismissed her thoughts and got out her cell phone. She dialed the number, feeling both excited and nervous. But little did Louisa know she was going to regret calling this number. After nearly a minute of waiting, finally, the number picked up and Louisa heard hello in her ear. Louisa quickly introduced herself and explained that she was interested in the house she had seen. The seller, called Mikey, was over the moon to hear Louisa's interest in the house. He insisted she come over straight away, and Louisa agreed. She had nothing to lose, but she was soon going to realize she did. Louisa drove to the address of the house, and already she could feel butterflies in her stomach. The drive was quite long. This house was further out than she had hoped, but she didn't care. She pulled up and Louisa was completely gobsmacked with how huge the house was in real life. Louisa was already sold. What could be wrong with this? She quietly muttered to herself. But Louisa was soon going to find out. As Louisa pulled in, she could see a man was stood at the front of the house. Louisa got out and the man came rushing over. A gigantic smile slapped on his face. "You must be Louisa. I'm Mikey," the man said. The two introduced each other, and Mikey swiftly kicked off the tour of the house. Louisa set foot inside her potential new home, not knowing what was coming to her. Walking around the house, Louisa reveled in the excitement. She could already picture her daughter playing in the backyard, and herself baking cookies in the stunning Victorian kitchen. Accompanied by Mikey, Louisa could tell he was enjoying her excitement and optimism for this house. Maybe he was just happy for her. But Louisa had no idea what Mikey's hidden agenda was. The house needed some work, but nothing too drastic. A few coats of paint and a tidy up. Louisa saw a dark red stain on the living room floor, but that was nothing a bottle of bleach couldn't fix. After seeing every area of the house, Louisa was confident she was making the right decision, but little did she know she was making a huge mistake. Mikey completed his tour of the house and then started to explain to Louisa about its history. This house was his grandmother's, and unfortunately, she passed away a few years ago. Louisa was sad to hear that. She had lost her grandfather a few years ago, so she could sympathize with Mikey. The two then went into the living room to discuss the house over coffee, but she had no idea what was coming. Sitting in the living room amongst the gorgeous furniture and spacious rooms, Louisa had a feeling this house was too good to be true. Why would a house like this be given away for free? It sounded absurd. There had to be some sort of catch, and Louisa was right. There was a catch, and when she found out what it was, she was left feeling sick to her stomach. How did you hear about the house? As Louisa and Mikey sipped on their coffees, Mikey said, "Oh, I forgot to ask. How did you find out about this house?" As Louisa placed her coffee on the crystal table in front of her, she replied, "An old woman showed it to me in town." As soon as Louisa said that, she saw Mikey's face go as white as a ghost, as if he had just heard something truly terrifying. Confused, Louisa asked what was wrong, but then suddenly she saw something in the corner of the room. It was a picture hung up on the wall, a portrait of an old woman. It was Mikey's grandmother, Mikey's dead grandmother. It was the same old woman who showed Louisa this house a few hours ago. Louisa sat frozen in her tracks and a terrible feeling hit the pit of her stomach. "Your grandmother," Louisa said, her voice trembling. "She's the old woman who showed me the house this morning." Mikey's mouth dropped open and he put his hands over his face. Louisa didn't know what to do. She wanted to run out of this house and get as far away as possible. But she also wanted answers. "Mikey, what's going on?" she asked. Mikey looked at her and started to reveal the truth. "You see, the reason that this house was free was due to the fact that many people have claimed it's haunted. Many people have said the ghost to Mikey's grandmother Adele haunts the halls. Mikey himself had never seen anything out of the ordinary, but he also made sure to stay far away from this house as he could." What about Louisa? Knowing all of this, was this house still the house of her dreams? When Louisa heard the truth, she decided to not go ahead with living there. Normally, she didn't believe in the paranormal, but after the encounter with the old woman, aka Adele, she felt different. She managed to find a smaller 2-bedroom house, but Louisa didn't mind. After all, wouldn't you rather have one less bedroom than a ghost lodge?